Join hands, it's called a love train, a love train. The next stop we make will be in England. Tell all the folks in Russia and China too. Don't you know that it's time to get on board and let this train keep on riding, riding on through, yeah. People all over the world, join hands. It's called a love train, yeah. People all over the world, join hands. It's called a love train, All of you brothers over in Africa, tell all the folks in Egypt and Israel too. Please don't miss this train at the station, 'cause if you miss it, I feel sorry for you. Yeah, people all over the world, join hands. It's called a love train, yeah. People all over the world, join hands. It's called a love train, Go ahead, take this time to spread your love. Say hello, say good morning, high fives, hugs, whatever you want, get them in. All over the world, join hands. It's called a love train, yeah. People all over the world, join hands. It's called a love train, People all over the world, join hands. It's called a love train, Thank you so much. Please stand if you're comfortable and join us in our congregational song, Spirit is in this place. We have come together as family. Yeah, we have come here as we are. And we have come with arms wide open. Yeah, we have gathered here in love. Spirit is in this place. Spirit is in this place. Raise a roof with shouts of praise. Spirit is in this place. And we sing in celebration. Yeah, we sing words of prayer, namaste, amen. And we affirm our life as sacred. Yeah, we declare that peace is here, right now. Spirit is in this place. Spirit is in this, Spirit this place. Raise a roof with shouts of praise. Spirit is in this place. Come as you are.
Yes, thank you. We affirm that all life is sacred, and so it is so true. And I'm going to ask Gina to walk up with the candle and light it. This candle represents, this light represents the light that we are and the light that we bring to the community. Each one of us is an expression of this loving presence. We honor all. All life is sacred. And I'd like you to say with me together the affirmation we have this. We rise together as love in a commitment to one another and ourselves. We rise together with intention to learn about ourselves and each other. We rise together. And as we come together this morning, I recognize and know that there is just one power, one presence, one energy back of absolutely all creation, absolutely every experience and every condition. And I know that this service is an amazing expression of this loving presence. And I know that as we go forward, it unfolds in perfect divine right order as we each hear what we need to hear, see what we need to see, and knowing that it is all in absolute divine right order and magnificent. And so I now can gratefully release this into the law, saying, and so it is.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome, welcome. And to you and our connected YouTube land. Well, today is St. Patrick's Day. When I was a child growing up in elementary school, this was a big day for being pinched, okay? Okay, if you weren't wearing green, okay? But you could always get pinched back, like if you wore green in your socks. Did anyone ever do the pinch backs? Yeah, there are some people here that are not wearing green today, okay? So we'll see. I dare. Reverend Bobby goes, I dare you, and I'm like, I did not pinch her. Nope. Maybe a couple things you didn't know about St. Patrick. One, not Irish, okay? And not born Patrick, born Maywin, who became a Patrick, okay? Was taken by the Irish tribe and ended up 6 years in slavery, okay? Later on, ended up in service as a Catholic priest for 30 years and died March 17th, 461. I know, right? And today, you know, the St. Patrick's Day is a celebration of Irish heritage, but more importantly, over the oppression of prejudice and what that is. So that's part of what we celebrate today. So there you go. On deck today, our senior minister, Reverend Bobbi. In spiritual support of our service, practitioners Marjorie Ray, you just saw Gina Overholt, and Pam Watanabe did the pre-service meditation. And a little bit later today, we have some special recognition for one of our practitioners. Production, sound, and streaming, we've got John and Matt in the back. Wave, guys. Very good. And we've got practitioner Carol Ann Perini there, so say hi, Carol. You'll see practitioner Wenda Arcala bringing up our kids later today, probably dressed in green is what I suspect. And our fantastic music, ever-talented Melissa Lewis, Des, Bongo Jim. Next, I'd like to bring up Leadership Council member Janice Guevara and practitioner.
Okay, if we could start by saying our collaboration vision statement together. Through mindful and respectful exploration, we are creating a healthier foundation that supports and engages a whole beloved community equipped to launch new strategies for a thriving spiritual center. Yeah, that's right. Okay, announcements. Okay. The 4 Agreements Workshop will be next Saturday, March 23rd, 1:30 to 5:30. If you forget what they are, just a real quick recap. Be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions. Always do your best. Based on ancient Toltec wisdom, the 4 agreements offer a potent code of conduct that can rapidly transform our lives into a new experience of freedom, true happiness, and love. This will be offered in Spanish during the session. Join Reverend Veronica and practitioners Jackie and Marjorie. And this will be an interactive workshop as they guide you on an interactive journey to recover awareness and wisdom of your authentic self. The cost is $30 at the door, but if you get an early bird ticket today, you get a discount. And something special, we are looking for 5 Spanish-speaking folks willing to take this workshop because we are going to launch a new service where we offer Spanish translation through Zoom. And see Reverend Veronica after service if you have any questions. Right here. Okay. All right. Today, after service, we will have a tagline gathering to talk about how we can formulate our new tagline to match our amazing name, Pacific Coast Center for Spiritual Living. So that's today after service. Okay, now some of you may have received in the mail a charter membership form, and it looks like this. Now, this is a really exciting endeavor that we are launching. If you were formerly a member of Namaste Center for Spiritual Living or a former member of Seal Beach Center for Spiritual Living, and you would like to become a charter member of Pacific Coast Center for Spiritual Living, sign this form, and it will reaffirm your commitment. If you weren't previously part of either of those groups, we will be having an orientation session where you will then begin the opportunity to do something similar. This is really cool. We're at the final steps here. Oh, it is. Okay, and then one other thing. Janie gave me this board right before I came up and said, tell folks to sign up. This is for our after service fellowship where we have a sign-up sheet for you to bring a dish for 10 to 12 people that we all enjoy. And all righty, so just as I sit down, I just want to thank everyone that took the time to find something green in your closet. It wasn't always easy to do, but you did it, so thank you so much.
Hello. Hey, there I am. I invite you to take a deep breath, settle in as we try and ground yourself and rest. Hopefully in this music, let it allow you to feel centered. Right here, right now. With every breath I take, I'm letting go. Gonna let it fade away. Right here, right now. I'm getting out of my head and dropping into my heart. Right now, right here, right now. With every breath I take, I'm letting go. Gonna let it fade away. Right here, right now. I'm getting out of my head and dropping into my heart. And how my mind can turn and twist and spin, just begging for some peace. That's how I know it's time to go within, be still and just breathe. Right here, right now. With every breath I take, I'm letting go. Gonna let it fade away. Right here, right now. I'm getting out of my head and dropping into my heart. And with each breath, I'll go deeper in this space and ground myself from the peace within this place. I can feel the love is flowing all around me. Right here, right now. I can feel the love, it's flowing all around me. Right here, right now.
Right here, right now. What a wonderful place to be. This month is Women's History Month. And as I looked at the calendar, I realized I've been around for quite a bit of that history. Yes, I heard some AARP had a quote that the guy said, "I worried about getting old, and then I turned 80 and realized I was." Yeah, and that's what's happening. In May, I'll turn 80. Yeah. So I'm going to start my experience of women's history back in 1920 when my mother was born, which was the year women got the right to vote. And the consciousness at that time was that a woman was not capable of living on her own. God forbid. She needed a man to protect her and bring in the money. And so it was expected that the female children in a family would stay with the family until they got married, and then the father would walk her down the aisle, who he had protected her, handed her hand to the husband who was going to take over the job of providing for her, and that was it. We were considered not to be able to take care of ourselves. And I have to tell you, at the same time, I did not get married until I was 50, and somehow I managed to take care of myself for all those 50 years. So I was born in 1944. The war was not over. My father was wounded. My parents came from Oakland. Father was wounded. Mom came down. I came not too long after that. And I was born in 44, before the war was over. And they were on the coast, and the fear was the Japanese were going to bomb the West Coast like they had in Hawaii. So there was a lot of fear when I was born. And for some reason, I was very shy. You might not believe that, but I was very shy. I wanted to just be a fly on the window or on the wall. We lived in Oakland until 1954 when we moved to Lafayette. And Lafayette was one of the first housing developments for middle-class people was built. And this community was all upper middle class and better. And I really felt less than when I got there. On the other hand, at that high school, it wasn't, are you going to go to college, but where are you going to go to college? So I did go to college, and at that time there were 4 professions that were really acceptable for women. That was a secretary, a nurse, or a teacher. So I became a teacher. And my first year of teaching, I was in Dixon, California, and I will say, let me just go back to my mom. When I graduated from college, I moved to Woodland and taught in Dixon, a suburb of Sacramento, and moved out of the house. And many years later, my mother confessed that she felt like a failure and felt like I had rejected her because a girl was supposed to stay at home until she got married. And I didn't get married till I was 50, so that was going to be a long stint. So I'm in Dixon. It's this little town. There's 1.5 elementary schools and 1 intermediate school. And the board of directors, or the school board, was all men. And at one meeting, one man got up and said, I think we should pay the men more than we pay the women because they're raising a family. And that was really the first time I felt discriminated against as a woman. It wasn't in writing, but boy, we sure talked about it. And we're not happy about that, let me tell you. Well, then I moved to Garden Grove. Actually, I moved to Newport Beach, taught in Garden Grove. And in 1971, I decided to buy a duplex. I was 27, I was single, and I had a hard time getting a loan because I was a single female, and I might get pregnant, and then I wouldn't be able to pay the loan. You know, and I didn't have a husband to co-sign for me or a daddy, but they finally did give me the loan. And it all's well that ends well, so it did end well. Now, in Garden Grove, I had a wonderful principal, and then they moved him because they needed him somewhere else. And we got a new principal. And guess what? Bobby, he was Mormon. And one day in the teacher's lounge, during, I don't know, recess or lunch, I can't remember which, he very boldly said it was a shame there were so many single women teaching instead of home having babies. Well, we didn't like that very much. Then we started comparing our evaluations, and if you were wearing a dress, you got excellent. If you were wearing pants or a pantsuit, you got good or less. I decided I needed to transfer, so I transferred out of that and got to another principal that I felt more comfortable with. Then in 1985, I quit teaching, and I decided to be a certified financial planner. I went from being a first grade teacher to a certified financial planner, kind of a big turnaround. One of the things that I wanted to do when I got all licensed and whatnot was to teach women, because women and people in general were really not taught about finances, mutual funds, stocks, bonds, compounding interest. So when I did, Orange Coast had opportunities for people to do workshops during the summer when the classrooms weren't used as much. So I had a class that I called Financial Planning for Women Only, with a tagline, "There are no dumb questions." And I, at one time, actually had a husband of one of those ladies come up and say, "Would you do one for men?" But I didn't. I wanted a safe place for the women. that they could actually learn something about what was going on. Now, as a financial planner, I had my own business, so I didn't discriminate against myself. And one of the good things about that was that when I went to national conventions, when they had a break, the restrooms were not lined up with women because there were very few women there. And there are more women now in the financial field, but there's still no line in the women's room. There's still no lines in the women's room. We've made a lot of progress, but it's not all there. I found Center for Spiritual Living in '85, and I was delighted to find a group that believed that we're all one, that we are all honored. There's no total inclusiveness. At the same time, I was in Church of Religious Science, which was the name back then, in Huntington Beach. They had like 3,000 people, or more, I can't remember. It was big, 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 big. But a woman could not go on the platform unless she was wearing a dress or a skirt. And now I find very few women wear dresses. Most of us are in pants. We've come a long way. We have a long way to go. And I'm so proud that we are here on that cutting edge of looking at everyone as being one of humanity, and honoring the humanity that we are, and honoring the God Spirit that within dwells each of us. So thank you, and we'll turn it over to Bobbi. Yes.
First time I've got a sexy whistle from my stole. But I'll give you that. Sometimes something gets to happen. There are things that happen when you're a minister that are difficult. And there's also a number of things that happen that bring such joy. And we get to officiate those experiences, those rituals, and we get to be present and hold space and be the container for that. And so, first of all, this is Reverend Veronica Silva. She's a staff minister here at Pacific Coast Center for Spiritual Living. And Reverend Juanita Gardner, who has been teaching practitioners. She is also a practitioner emeritus, which is amazing to accomplish that. And so today is special because we get to honor one of our practitioners who has moved into the status of emeritus. How great is that? So I'm going to invite Valerie, just Valerie, up right now. This is... See, I didn't have to say a word, but Valerie Day. So Valerie Day was invited to join a special group of emeritus practitioners with Centers for Spiritual Living. Here at Pacific Coast Center for Spiritual Living, she is our first in this new creation to step into emeritus, right? Good timing, by the way. So here we celebrate all the years of service for Valerie, her generosity and her wisdom. This is not a path of perfection, by the way. It is one of resilience, alignment, realignment, recommitment besides commitment, and an eye that looks at the eternal, internal life that we live. It's exclusive to the internal eye. So over the past 20 years, Valerie has done this. Believe me, this is a short list because I can't do everything, but this is what's required. Every 2 years, Valerie has completed a reassessment, a recommitment, and a redeclaration of intention that ends up being a review and a recommitment to a life of service. 20 years. In well years. Just kidding. She has abided at all times by the code of ethics, policies, and procedures for centers of spiritual living pertaining to practitioners. She's been an active, loyal, and supporting member of any community that she's been in. She relicensed every 2 years. She must perform, and over the last 20 years, she has performed more than 5,000 hours of appropriate continuing licensing units, which is service. She's also done more than 900 hours of continuing education. Now, that's the minimum. You know she's done double. That's the minimum. And all this has been done in cooperation and coordination with the senior minister to which she has served with. So Valerie was licensed at Agape International Spiritual Center with Reverend Michael Beckwith in 2003. We went through this. She then moved over to Namaste Center for Spiritual Living and accepted a license transfer at that point, to which, more recently, she has had another transfer to the Pacific Coast Center for Spiritual Living. She continues to answer the call to the sacred and profound work and for the expansion of consciousness everywhere by serving the community, which includes all centers for spiritual living, our local community, and the world devotedly. So I'm going to actually, Reverend Juanita's going to say a few words about what it means to be emeritus.
When Reverend Bobbi asked me to say something, she said to be spontaneous. And for those of you who know me, I prepare and prepare and prepare. So this is a new opportunity for me to grow, and Reverend Bobbi knows how much I like growth opportunities. It's like, and both Valerie and I were sang with the Agape Choir, so that was a great experience. And I love music, and the thing that came to my mind was one of Ricky's songs as a practitioner is, "Use me, O God, I stand for you, as you show me what I must do. Command my hands, command my life, I'm here for you." That comes to mind, and that's what a practitioner does, is just totally surrender to Spirit for guidance. And also another song that she sings, which is my favorite, I do believe, is if God is all there is, then everything is God. And I say if God is all there is, then everything must be God. Because, if God plus 0 equals God. So it's just it's just an honor and a privilege to be a part of this ceremony for Valerie.
I'm going to read some of the things her colleagues and people in our community have given to me to speak to Valerie. They're in no particular order. Winda Arcala, who's our youth and family, a practitioner, says Valerie has brought authenticity, vulnerability, joy, enthusiasm, compassion, and an open heart to our practitioner team and to the center. When Valerie is there, you know someone has your back, and that's a great feeling. Thank you, Valerie, for all you bring and who you are. Would you play our video from Jeff in Sedona?
My name is Jeff Schlicht. I'm a licensed practitioner with Pacific Coast Centers for Spiritual Living. And I am absolutely honored today to celebrate Valerie's emeritus status today. I've known Valerie for many, many years. She was there supporting me when I received my license as a practitioner well over 10 years ago. So I am grateful to be here. And Valerie, thank you for continuing to step into the call, practicing new things, and be that individualized expression, always and constantly unfolding as that creative potentiality that shows up exactly as Valerie is. So you celebrate your day. It is so nice to be here with everybody, and blessings. All right. Enjoy your day, Valerie.
Little bit of, there we go. I'm going to ask you to just hold your applause so we can walk through this. This is from Rachel Rosen, who's Valerie's cohort in leading the practitioners. Rachel, you can stand just so people know who you are. It is with deep pleasure that I share a few thoughts about this special being, Valerie. Serving alongside her as co-lead of our practitioners, I am in awe of her many gifts, special gifts. First and foremost, her consciousness and ease in providing soulful prayer whenever the need arises without hesitation. Though she plays and laughs wholeheartedly, she is always present and ready to tap into the infinite source to touch and heal any being in need. She inspires me to live authentically as she lives her life out loud, and I'm thankful to be her friend and fellow traveler on this path of spirit with deep appreciation. Valerie, your commitment and mentorship of all our practitioners is a powerful force for good. Pam Watanabe in the back. Carol Ann Perini. And when I read your name, if you could just stand so folks know who you are. What's not to love? I don't know if she meant me to say it like that. It just invited me, right? Prayers and beauty and energy and consciousness. Love you, girl. Jessie, in the back. Dearest Valerie, it has been inspiring to watch you grow into your leadership as a practitioner. You are a blessing to all who know you. Your prayers have the power to transform lives. You are genuinely an agent for positive transformation in the world. Thank you for all you do. Love and hugs and blessings. Valerie was my prayer mentor when I was becoming a practitioner. That would be Debbie Ann. Valerie's prayers are powerful and inspiring, full of passion, love, and conviction. Her consciousness during prayer brings me to tears, and I feel like the presence of God through her. This says Deepak Chopra, which is Mary. It felt like an opportunity, Mary. My intentions for you include a joyful, healthy, energetic body, a loving, compassionate heart, a reflected, aware, focused mind. Thank you. I thought it said hind. Lightness of being. That would have been good too. This is about Valerie. Powerful prayers, enthusiastic energy. Sylvia, filled with laughter, joyous tears. She says, a God giggle? Oh my goodness. If you ever hear Valerie giggle, you know what that means. There it is. Don't ever stop. Valerie has been a guiding, powerful EG in my life. Thank you. and growth in our community. Her prayers have held me up financially and supported me all these years. She helped me with my resumes and holding the truth for me in times I couldn't see. Something done socially. I give thanks. Is this yours? No worries. I've enjoyed all I've done socially with her and enjoy her presence and commitment to serve our community. She's a dear friend, and I appreciate all she's done for me, Karen, and our community. To my agape sister, is this you? Yes. You're an amazing example in holding the high watch. Keep pushing the edges of the next best expression of you. I love you, Rev Veronica. Valerie Day, I love your enthusiasm and optimism. I appreciate your dedication as practitioner co-lead. Last one. Valerie, I appreciate your sparkling personality, your infectious giggle. I appreciate your innovative approach to life and learning. So I'm just going to invite the folks that are here to support Valerie, if you just come on up. So at this time, we're going to pull this beautiful stole out, and would you just show folks the stole? So the elements of this stole are, this is called the Interfaith of Oneness, which is an embroidered that shows all the various faith traditions on our planet, the major ones. Down here, of course, it says practitioner. On the other side here, this says Valerie Day, practitioner emeritus. Now, you may wonder why it's in burgundy, because those are her colors. We do. So if I could just have you, if you would oblige Valerie today, and just hold your hands up like this. To Valerie, and also her family and friends. She has a brother up here. Just raise your hand a little bit. There you go. So we just hold this stole as a representation of the oneness that Valerie has always been. This is not perfection. This is perfect Valerie. This is how she shows up in the world as love and compassion. She has shown up in transitions where folks have needed that beautiful space that she brings, and has loved them from one place to the next, whatever that might be in their life. She has shown up in laughter and reminds us to be present and not quite so serious that we sometimes get. She has made an impact on anyone she's ever touched. She has pulled from us the thing that disturbs us and at the same time allowed us to heal it. When she cries, we know manifestation is already happening, because that's how deeply and in oneness her prayer is. For she sees the highest and best of whoever comes to her for that beautiful, beautiful gift and art of prayer. She gives in her community and continually questions whether it's enough, and it always is, for she is. So as we bless this stole as the community of Pacific Coast Center for Spiritual Living, her family and friends, we say yes to our beautiful and beloved Valerie Day, practitioner emeritus, and so it is.
Amazing, you will do amazing used to float, but now I just fall down. I used to know, but I'm not sure now what I was made for. What was I made for? Taking a drive, I was an ideal. I looked so alive, but turns out I'm not real. Just something you paid for. What was I made for? 'Cause I don't know how to feel, but I wanna try. I don't know how to feel, but someday I might. Someday I might. When did it end? All the enjoyment. I'm sad again. Don't tell my girlfriend, it's not what she's made for. What was I made for? 'Cause I don't know how to feel, but I wanna try. I don't know how to feel, but someday I might. Someday I might. I think I forgot how to be happy. It's something I'm not, but something I can be. It's something I'll wait for. It's something I'm made for. Something I'm made for.
You know, when the song was picked, which was over a month ago, kind of times in with what we're talking about, because approval seems to be what a lot of that song is about, which is a lot of times in the history of women, there's been this constant struggle for approval. And I would say that acceptance would be like the very minimum. To me, that's actually so low on the hierarchy. Celebration is where I'm going, right? That's where I'm going, the highest idea of a word. This whole month and last month, we've been talking about the book, The 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership, and this is a leadership book. What I have found is that it is affecting every relationship in my life because it keeps adding every week as I'm preparing. I read this book 5 or 6 years ago. Every week as I'm preparing, I'm finding myself looking at places in my life where I'm playing what we would say below the line or above the line. So when I'm above the line, review, open, curious, committed to learning. When I'm below the line, closed, defensive, committed to being right. And it's so interesting because in some cases, depending on what particular group we are in culture, we are, I sort of think of that scripture that unto much given, much is required. There is some folks in our culture than which much more is required to do this, right? As women, it's Women's History Month, certainly and absolutely there is a struggle that happens with certain rights for women and places. All of us have had this experience. Folks of color, let's just drop it even a little bit more difficult, right? Where it's just so challenging to be recognized in a world for who we are, not what we look like, or something that has been characterized as less than. Now, part of what's really great about this book is, believe it or not, Michael Beckwith consulted on this book. And the consultation that he brought in this book was these 4 states of consciousness, which is things happening to me, my victimhood, things happening by me, which there's a power in the universe and I can use it, which means I'm doing it. If we can get to that level, we are so good, which is where we want to go. But then the next 2 levels, this is where we really build who we are in our community. The through me, I cooperate with life happening. The as me, which is life is me, which is I just don't have questions about what's happening because I know that the divine is unfolding. There are times I play there. It's lovely and it's wonderful, and there's part of me that wants to play there more and more, but you can't force that. There's the journey that keeps happening. And I love that. And so for approval, we're going to add approval and control and security, which is the I commit to being the source of my approval, control, and security. Below the line, I commit to living from the belief that my approval, control, and security come from the outside, from people, circumstances, and conditions. I don't want to play there. Do you? No, not at all. So this month I've really been exploring some of our new thought philosophers that are women. This was Marion G. Moon in 1935, and this fits very well with today's approval, security, and control. Each one of us is on a path of self-discovery. Although some are not as yet aware of this, pause, look right here, don't read the rest. The law, the universe works whether you're conscious or not. Not just because I hit a pause button. It's always moving and it's reacting to the things that I believe and feel. All are seeking to release themselves for greater self-expression and creativity. The part of us that is absolutely unlimited, and that part of us is there's something within us that is untouched, that knows this. Never runs out of ideas for expression. So I always know when I'm feeling separate as I run out of ideas. And by the way, I'm married to a woman who never runs out of ideas, so get that one. God help us, right? That's why I'm with her. The real self or spirit is all complete and always perfect. The power within us is greater than we understand, yet is ready for our use and direction. So this is a beautiful quote which expresses the living above the line when we're aware that spirit is operating always and that we are of the very action of God. We are the very action of God. We are not separate. God is not this, okay, this is my version of God. I don't believe in a deity, this white-haired, straight guy up there who's kind of dictating how everything happens, and I'm wondering why things happen. No. For me, God is the energy of the universe. It is the expression of it all. And love is the very thing that is expressed whether I see it or not. But I have to see it, which I also have to be it. So I can't just wait for others to express it. I have to express it, whatever and regardless of what is going on. Now, we have, under this approval, security, and control, we have some basic security needs. So when it comes to our security, we have financial security, relational security, occupational security, and material security. Is there anything I've left out? Okay. I see it in there in all those, depending on what it's affecting, right? But thank you. And anyone else? Kind of covers it. So here's what's happening when my security is all based around this, and it comes from some basic desires. When I'm thinking of approval, control, and security, they come from basic desires. It's money, a new car, healthy kids, a unified leadership team. Right? How things unfold in service. Basic human rights are also needs. Those are needs. So, and they go from big to small in our minds. Although God doesn't see anything as big or small, everything is all. All of that is inclusive, and there's really no distinguishing of that. But there's basic comforts to wanting a life often that is just fair and equitable. So we put that in our consciousness. When it comes to security, we want, as I mentioned, this financial security, occupational security, material security, and relational security. All of that happens oftentimes through our perspectives and others based upon approval. So I do things sometimes for others' approval. Because I think if you approve of me and what I'm doing, then I'm going to get something. And that's how we were designed a bit. Because that's the tiger at the door. That's the ego saying, be protective, protect. And approval, at this stage of the game, in our evolution as human beings, approval is the tiger at the door. Trying to keep the tiger outside the door. Now, approval is to be loved, liked, wanted, valued, appreciated, respected, to belong, to be part of something. Anybody not want that? Got so quiet. Control, if I can't get approval, if I can't gain security through approval, I'm going to control. If I can't earn approval, I'm going to control. That's when control shows up. All of these things are part of us and our survival. They're ways we cope. Now, why would we want to talk about this on a Sunday? And Sunday only happens because it's the day we selected to do service. Because when Ernest began doing this, he kind of mirrored us after the Presbyterians and thought, this looks good. What we do here is not church. What we do here is spiritual community. We are not a dogma. We have no plan of salvation for you other than to get through the door. And we pray for our community as they walk through the door and out the door, that there's a little bit lighter today, that you get to learn something about what it means to be the face of God. And when I don't know or believe that I'm the face of God, I act pretty terrible. So through this book that we've been doing, it's some of the behaviors that we get to pay attention to that lend to me, help me forget that I'm the face of God and that you're the face of God. And if I am not aware that I'm seeking approval, trying to control, trying to gain approval, seek security, seek approval, trying to control, those three things are so intertwined, it's hard to separate them. But when I play in those three behaviors, I can tell you when I play in those behaviors that I don't want to let go of something. I'm trying to hold on to something that is not mine to hold on to, that is not mine to control, because control is the way in which, sort of, I'm going to come back to this, the by me, I make life happen. When I'm controlling, I believe I'm making life happen. I'm the center of the universe. And a lot of times with this movement, we play in this idea of manifesting and creating with the thought that we will stop suffering because I will have enough money, enough materialism, enough of what I need so that I can feel safe, my security. In fact, at times we'll even ask for prayer for someone suffering because it's uncomfortable for us to see suffering, isn't it? Right? It's hard to let the divine unfold in this messy human life, isn't it? I just got to put my foot in everything. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I do, and it turns out in a way that I wished I hadn't put my foot in there. Now, we're going to talk about something that's happened in this last century in which a group of women decided that they did not need approval. They did not need the approval of culture to say that we came here to be equals in the world of systems. In 1969, the U.S. landed a man on the moon. Bernice Bunny Sandler, PhD, a married mother of two, and owner of a new doctoral degree, couldn't land a job. She applied for research and teaching jobs. One interviewer called her just a housewife who went back to school. Another said he couldn't hire women because they would stay home with their children. They needed to stay home when their children were sick. Never mind that her children were in high school. It was the rejection from her own school, the University of Maryland's College of Education, where she taught part-time through her graduate studies in counseling, in which it stung the worst. In 1969, fewer than 4% of medical students were women. Fewer than 3% of law students were women. Only 7% of the athletes in high school were women. In the state of Virginia, 21,000 women were rejected for admissions to college. 0 men were rejected. This was not that long ago. When she asked why she wasn't considered for one of the 7 open positions in her department, a male faculty member said, "Let's face it, you come on too strong for a woman." Now, if you think that's over, I heard that 10 years ago. That's because I was in the corporate world. Sandler could have gone home and cried, and she did at first. She could have blamed herself. She did that too. Regretting how she spoke up. Anyone regret how you spoke up in a staff meeting or a class discussion? It was a time when men held every position of power at the university and outnumbered women 8-1 among faculty. Women were still subjected to curfews and dress codes and steered to majors like home economics. She realized her failure to find work wasn't about her qualifications. She just had the wrong gender for the time. And she never secured a faculty job. Instead, she launched a battle into the classrooms of the United States, Congress, and national states to create, pass, and defend the groundbreaking federal legislation known as Title IX.
It all comes down to 37 words.
No person
in the United States shall, on the basis of sex,
be excluded from participation in,
be denied the benefits of,
or be subjected to discrimination
under any
education program
or activity
receiving federal financial assistance.
Title IX.
37 words that changed America.
On June 23, 1972, Richard Nixon signed Title IX into law to equalize education in the United States.
'79, only 7% of high school varsity athletes were female.
We used to sit on the sidelines. We used to only be spectators. We were overlooked, undervalued. We weren't seen as profitable, as interesting. Not worth the investment. Then, everything changed.
"50 years ago, Title IX was signed, 50 years from 2023. 50 years. So what's interesting about what happened with Title IX and the reason that God unfolds as each one of us is because it takes each one of us to support continuing what happens for women's rights, any right. What did Title IX do? Between 1970 and 78, women's collegiate teams doubled. Between 1970 and 1988, women's undergraduate enrollment paces men 2-to-1. That's because Title IX is not about sports, it's about education and sports. In 1972, there were 15 women in Congress. Today, there are 153. In 1972, 4.6% of U.S. businesses were women-owned. Today, there are 42% of all businesses are women-owned. In 1972, 1.4% made up the military. I struggle with this, but you know. Today, they make up 16%. I've been exploring that journey of women. I came into my own, and I started high school in 1978. And I remember this, that the women's locker room was the crappiest locker room I'd ever seen. And it didn't change. And it wasn't built until 2 years before I got into the program of high school. And the men's locker room was absolutely fantastic. It looked like the NBA, the pros. We had the worst, oftentimes, transportation, and oftentimes the worst lodging. We had the smaller budget, even after Title IX. There are women's programs out there that are still trying to just get a softball field for their high school, even when it's a new school. Now, how does this happen? How does change happen? We are God unfolding. We do not need the approval of anyone to be who we are, which also means that we make the difference by who we are, as women, as men, as gender non-binary, as whatever it is that we show up in the world. It is up to us to remember that we are the face of God. So with approval and security and control, we cannot accomplish much. But we step into who we are, to what we authentically came here to be. In 1990, I came out to my parents knowing that they would reject anything about that. I did it knowing that I would not get approval. We all have that story. Why do we do it? Because we cannot be anything other than ourselves. We cannot do that. If we do, Emerson says, imitation is suicide. The most powerful quote that I read in the 90s with respect to becoming and continuing to unfold who I am. And I don't own that. We all do. So as we go forward from this 37 words reminds us, 37 words. No person. I think a woman wrote this, sorry, because it says no person. I could be wrong. Here's the thing. How can I gain my own approval, which is the most important, when I'm standing and I'm facing something which tells me that I need to step into who I am and maybe I haven't been? Have this internal discussion of why can't we have what we want? What is it I want? I think in some cases we don't even ask ourselves, what do I want? Find what's in the way. That's what our practitioners do. They support us in finding what's in the way. Get angry. By the way, I think angry is a great motivator. Used in the right way, excellent motivator. Then get a plan, which may be just the first step. If you have a position of not stepping up as yourself, radically change your plan. If it doesn't include who you really are, not to the detriment of others, might I add, don't bleed all over everyone along the way. Find others that support you. This, right now, what's happening in the United States is the Final Four. Women's basketball is happening. Why do I say that? Because for the first time on ESPN, you can watch the entire series. And for years, I have looked down at women in basketball because they did not play the same as men. And I'm an athlete. I'm going to own that one. They're amazing. We haven't had the best coaches. We haven't had the funds. We haven't had the programs. We haven't had the support, the recognition, the marketing, all of that. And yet these women still step out every day. And it's up to us to support these women, these young women that will step into adulthood in a whole new way, because I think it's what one of the Olympic basketball players, 1996, Lisa Leslie, is that right? For some reason up here, I can't remember that, but Lisa Leslie said that as a woman of color stepping out into 1996 for the first time to be looked at and loved as a woman of color, it was the first time she ever felt it at the national level. We have to do that for each other. We have to do that for women. Let's bless that. Let's do that. Let's let go of worrying about what other people think, and let's step up for these young women this time of year. That is my prayer, and so it is. While they're getting ready, could you put the slides back up, please? So if you will stand while they're getting ready, our music team, please stand and read the top line with me. We're not going to read at the bottom line, you know why, the below the line. Are you ready? I commit to being the source of my approval, control, and security. And so it is.
There's a bluebird sitting on the telephone wire, just bouncing on the breeze, watching cars rush by. Not at all worried, just hanging hanging on tight. So, baby, why can't I? There are palm trees sticking up like lollipops, soaking up the heat, letting coconuts drop. Not a care in the world, just living on top. So, baby, why can't I? Somebody finds a golden ticket in a chocolate bar. Someone strikes oil in the dirt. Hey, the prize in the cereal box, the winning bottle top. So many ways it could work. There's a flat in Manhattan with a bayside view. Sun on the horizon up in Malibu. Little change in my pocket going ring-a-ding-a-doo. So, baby, why can't I? There ain't nothing that ain't in the cards as long as my chips roll in. Hey, with all the possibilities, strictly statistically, someday I'm bound to win. Hey, there ain't nothing that ain't in the cards as long as my chips roll in. Hey, with all the possibilities, strictly statistically, someday I'm bound to win. Then I'll live in a wonder looking down from the top. My heart wide open, no way I'm gonna stop. 'Cause it makes me happy, expecting a lot. So baby, why can't I? Yeah, it makes me happy, expecting a lot. So baby, why can't I? Yeah, baby, why can't I?
Hello, everybody. If I could please have the ushers come up, Jan, Donna, Beth, and Maria. There's many ways for us to give. I have an affirmation that we can read together. We rise together as love for ourselves and our community. We rise as acts of service, generosity, and expression of our unique talents. As a committed whole, we give this gift today. There's many ways for us to give. This is somewhat for the people online. If I could please have the kids come forward.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Happy St. Patrick's Day. And today we have a very special guest. This is Miss Jill. She is one of our longtime congregants, and she blessed the youth program this morning with her amazing skills. She has been a teacher. She's now a retired teacher. She's been a teacher for 30 years, and I'm going to let her take over now.
Good morning. It's different from this point of view. I'm usually in the back in the back of everybody's head, so it's a little... one of my passions that I love to do is tell stories. to children and share the different stories. There's so many beautiful children's stories out there. The one we did today is called A Time to Fly, and it is a beautiful book about a story of a baby bird who goes through the journey, the beginning journeys of life, with all the fears and all the worries and trepidations that come with starting a new life. And so it's written by an author, Don Marr, who lives here in Seal Beach, and he wrote this beautiful book about the baby bird going through the different emotions. And the mother bird just continues to encourage the baby to quiet its mind, go into its heart, know that it's forever loved, and to just find its genuine self and just fly. So at this time, I'm going to turn the mic over to my grandson, Emerson, who helps me take this book out to the different programs and present it.
Good morning.
Hi, I'm Chloe.
Forever love yourself and just fly.
Say forever love yourself and fly.
Forever love yourself and just fly.
I'm not as proud. Wait, what's that word? Prepared. Oh, I'm not as prepared as the others. I'm not sure this is the right thing for me.
Forever love yourself and just fly. Forever love yourself and just fly.
Can you say your name, Lars? Lars. This is Lars.
Forever you love yourself and just fly. Know that you are loved. Know that you are special with unique wings. For a lover of yourself and
Just
fly.
And just one more thing, we have a special guest here this morning. The author of the book is actually here this morning. Don, if you'd like to stand up, please. And each one of the kids will get a copy of this book, so if you'd like him to sign the copy, I'm sure he would love it, and if you have any more information.
Thank you.
If I could please have all the practitioners stand. These are our certified, bona fide practitioners. They're legit. Have done so much work to be spiritual practitioners to help our community. For those of you that might need some extra prayer today, we have a place over here, Des will show you, for some additional prayer. And we've got everyday prayer for you as need be. If I could please have the candles taken out, please. As this candle leaves, we open the circle of light that represents the intentions from today's service. Let us take them out into the world. Reverend Bobbi, would you please come up for the benediction?
So, Valerie's emeritus, so if you could put the prayer up for us, we're just going to have her do the prayer, so if I invite you all to stand.
Oh my goodness, okay. Y'all like this rowdy prayer. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. It is this thing called life. is it? Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. Life is all that I am. Life is all that we are. And what are we going to do with it? I accept it, I am it, and I share it with all. And how are we going to share it? Just the way it appears, and just the way it appears not. Thank you, life. And so it
is. Here we go from the top. Are you ready? 3, 4. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. To the top again, here we go. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Let us be reminded, let us be reminded of who we come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Have a great week.